There's honestly so many different aspects and reasons as to why people take drugs, but some people take drugs as an escape, personally, for me it's a break.
So we were taken to a flat down east of the railway station, and we were just offered a shit ton of drugs, and that's basically it.
So it's Dunedin. All the drugs are shit in Dunedin.
People take drugs.
Oh, that makes you feel good.
Can you elaborate on that?
It gives you a good buzz. Just makes you, gets you in the groove,
It's the white stuff you put up your nose on a dirty, grimy sea.
If I offered you MDMA right now, would you take it?
No, I don't know who you are.
Excuse me?
Your designated outfits are behind you.
Huh?
20 seconds.
I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here.
10 seconds.
Look, I'd really just like to go back to that party.
What's it, man? I've got shit to do. Excuse me, could you help me out?
I hope you have some questions prepared. Good luck.
Meeting with Greg Daniels, student, 22 years old, drug-wise.
So I've done weed, MDMA, LSD, ketamine, codeine recreationally, not for pain relief, Valium, other sleeping pills recreationally, and cocaine. Oh, and nitrous. Thanks. I think it is extremely intense here in Dunedin. It's difficult to maneuver around. There is a lot of MDMA, which is the common one here. I think it can be extremely damaging, and I know of a few people who have definitely gone off the deep end using it. It seems like almost everyone is on something at a party in a way, whether, it is alcohol or, they're smoking weed, but it always seems like it's almost always in your vicinity. I don't think, during my time studying and through high school, I was really taught anything. I found most of the information around it myself or from experimenting on myself with drugs.
Do you fear addiction at all?
I definitely need control and kind of think about why I am taking these things. Especially with MDMA, the whole point of the drug is to release serotonin to make you feel positive and have a good time. And so for me, it's I need to evaluate what I am taking it for. Because if I'm going to have a good time at something already, why do I need to take it?
Hey. Look, I'm not supposed to be here. I was at 3 drinks with my friends. I was about to take...
MDMA. Dr. Gale is waiting for you.
Who now?
I'm seeing people who take massive amounts of all kinds of stuff and their lives are a complete mess, and I'm interested in giving them their lives back. MDMA is actually a modification of amphetamine, and amphetamine's a really old drug. This stuff is so damn pleasant and useful. The first thing it does is squirts a whole pile of excitatory chemicals around your body. This is an amphetamine-like effect, so you get increased energy, increased concentration, a lot more desire, some sense, some kind of heightened sexuality, some kind of heightened pleasure. But it also has a serotonergic effect. Lots of serotonin can start off giving you a sense of oneness with nature and sensitivity and reflectiveness and openness, then can lead to increasingly unusual experiences.
Due to the high traffic of drug taking, the teleportation service is currently unavailable. Please use the designated scooter to proceed to your next location. Due to the high traffic of drug taking, the teleportation service is currently unavailable.
Yeah, okay, shut up.
Please use the
Hey, reception lady.
Yes.
Chris was talking about unusual experiences.
Yes.
Are those good or bad experiences?
Yes.
Well, that just doesn't make any sense.
Turn right in 550 metres. You have arrived at your destination.
At the flat, they've called me and my mate the Angels. The first time we did it, they were all shocked that we of all people were trying. And then, of course, I didn't have any bad experiences, so I just kept doing it. It started off with I'll do tiny little bits. I probably spend $40 a weekend, maybe 80 if it was a bigger night.
When I actually came to Dunedin, I had hardly ever had alcohol. I don't think I'd ever been drunk before.
Mdma was on my hit list of drugs to try. And so I thought, oh, now's the time, I guess. There's no better time. When's the opportunity going to rise again? It was a casual Saturday night with mates. They just decided we're doing Mdma tonight. And I had no idea that we were going to do this, so I wasn't ready. I didn't do any research beforehand. So their plans was to take Mdma and then go to Vivace. And yeah, I was just following the night along.
I got it through my girlfriend's friend's sister's friend, so I was not very keen on it. Pretty standard kind of whitish, but with a little bit of brown to it, which I've had stuff like that before. I've had pink stuff, black stuff, I know it all.
My decision against it was, it's a mind-altering substance. I'd like to be in control of my body and thoughts at all times. But I didn't really have a problem with drinking alcohol because it's legal, everyone kind of drinks alcohol. The first time that I took Mdma was over the summer, and it was at a festival up in the North Island. There wasn't any pressure to do so, which, to be fair, I think that is kind of a bit of peer pressure, just people-friendly offering. It's not forcing you, but, there's that social pressure to do drugs.
So there was half of the average dose of Mdma left. I had 1/5 of that. In perspective, I only had 1/10 of an average dose of Mdma. All my other mates were drinking and had Mdma, which is, a bad combination. But I thought, I'm just taking this as is, I should be fine.
There was the little scales, little bits of white powder and those capsules, put them in and then wrapping them up in tin foil so they don't melt. And it felt a bit seedy, kind of the underbelly of the drug world. But, this was with friends, people I trusted, and yeah, it was a sunny day, people were cooking sausages on the barbecue. It was actually a really, really cool, fun environment.
I had a small line to start with, kind of came dependent on it almost, but when I'm going to town, I was otherwise I'm done at 1 o'clock, and so I just use it as an extra kick.
When I first snorted it, it was very uncomfortable, kind of tingly pain. It smelled and tasted gross. And then, but all of a sudden, my eyes just started jittering all around the place, and I just kept blinking. There was fairy lights in the background, and they became very bright and intense. All the sounds around me, they sounded blurry, but they were very loud.
And then when one of my friends recommended, we took them, and very excited for it to kick in immediately, which it didn't. I don't know really what I was expecting, a massive rush of euphoria or anything, but I just felt like, I could dance and have a good time for a long time.
We were in the club and my partner came up to me and she told me that she wasn't feeling too well. Between driving from the Octagon to the hostel, which was 2 minutes, she started having a psychotic break almost. We got there and she started going on about how she thought she was dying, which I had managed to vomit what I had taken out because I knew that I had to look after her.
It's a pretty scary thought to have, especially when you're in that state for the first time.
I was fully worried that like this was going to be my life forever. Because of like my severe depression, I was kind of accepting to the fact that I could die. I was more worried about what the other people were going to think of me, or my parents were going to think of me if they ever found out.
I remember looking out of the window on the plane, and it was a beautiful day, and I had some friends down there who were at Daydreams. And I just remember feeling really sad that I was missing out, sad that I was leaving Auckland, and then also realising that I was probably coming down off the MD still. So
the come down was very, very bad. I was at like my darkest point in my life. Mental health wise, I haven't really recovered from that nearly a year on.
You can always, when you're doing drugs, like drinking or whatever, you always push past it without realising.
Like, I understand these chemicals to some extent, and the dangers of them, but I understand the dangers of alcohol and how that affects your brain. So, and I'd used those before, so I don't really see it as too much of a problem, as long as you're being sensible about it.
There's a sense of maturity around it as well. It's like you don't need to be feeling these ways every single time.
Yeah, I think so. I no longer see them as this scary, evil substance, but rather a substance that can be dangerous, but some people can enjoy.
Yes, my body isn't suited for MDMA. The only thing that I would have changed was obviously to stop and done a bit of research and then done it when I felt comfortable. It's not worth the risk. I would never want to feel that way again.
People are going to do it no matter what, really. I was just told, don't do it. I think people need to be told this is what happens if you do it.
I get it now. Not every experience is the same. MDMA might not always be MDMA. Know yourself, know your stuff.
Your presentation is due after lunch.
Presentation?
What really happens if you do it? Like Isaac said.
Do what?
Drugs. MDMA. You clearly haven't listened to Chris. Have lunch, watch this. I'm on break.
A neurotransmitter is a chemical message which goes between one nerve and another. And the body uses about 6 or 7 major chemicals. If you are scared by a tiger and you sprint away and you save yourself and you feel your heart pounding, that's adrenaline. Dopamine is often a pleasurable thing. The classic one here is a rock concert. You go to a rock concert and the volume's loud and you feel yourself going up. It's not as scary, it's more an up feeling. GABA, which is gamma amylobutyric acid, which I can't spell, is a chill chemical. Calms everything down. Barbiturates, which we use to stop fits. Glutamate is a much more powerful chemical used a lot for signaling in the brain, and the only safe chemical I know that can hit that safely and reliably is ketamine. The other one that people talk about a lot is OxyContin, which is that sense of satisfaction. And the easiest way to get OxyContin in your body is to fall in love. If you can't fall in love, try chocolate. Serotonin, thank you, I forgot one. Serotonin is a kind of odd chemical. No serotonin, you get depressed. High serotonin, you get a sense of oneness and mysticism and also a bit of hallucinations.
React with the chemicals in your brain and then the neurotransmitters.
Okay. Hi, my name is Grayson Clark. I'm a psychology student studying at Otago University, and today I'll be talking to you about the effects of MDMA on the body. So, once the stimulant has entered your bloodstream, it will make its way to your brain, where the synapses are waiting for new commands. So the substance you have taken will attach itself to your brain, and the brain will start to release certain chemicals, the neurotransmitters, serotonin, dopamine, etc. These send signals to the rest of the body, signals that can otherwise be described as the effect of being high. There can be positive effects, emotional warmth, empathy, energy, but there can also be negative effects. Really high blood pressure, loss of jaw control, dehydration, because your brain might forget to tell you that you should be drinking water.
Thanks, Grayson. That's very good.
I wasn't done yet.
What's missing?
Well, the come down and What if the MDMA isn't even MDMA?
3:30, parking lot, behind the library. Jai Whelan, he has an office. Buy what you need, don't be late.
Cool, I'll just grab some outfits real quick.
Sup, bro? I'm looking to buy some drug testing kits.
Yeah, what are you looking to test there, mate?
Probably mainly MDMA.
Mainly MDMA?
Yeah.
A few options for you. There's synthetic cathepsin tests, very good option at the moment with some of the gnarly things you definitely don't want.
Okay.
Indicator test to give you an indication of what you might have, hopefully the right thing. And the purity test to give you an indication of relative purity, probably.
What's the price range for these?
We're going to have 15 for that, 10 for that, 15 for that, all these two together for 20.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm probably just going to get all of them, if that's all right.
It's a safe bet, mate. I like it.
Sweet.
Oh, should we go to this still over here?
How can they sell all of those things when drugs are illegal? What's your story?
I was arrested for drug dealing offences on the 10th of October 2020. Received 12 months of home detention, and that was for a numerous amount of charges.
Far out. How long have you lived in Dunedin for?
I was just studying there from 2017 till last year, but I only started stepping into MDMA and LSD last year. It was mainly just weed. I was on Castle Street in second year, so if you weren't doing it, you were kind of a loser. I was never actually big on taking the drugs. It was more about supplying them. I had some bad experiences with MDMA, well, what I thought was MDMA, which was just most definitely bath salts. The experience that I had was so shit that I didn't want other people to experience that same thing. I'm not like a gangster or anything like that, so I'm not like a scary person to approach.
Right.
And so I just thought I could make it like a proper business, and I just wanted to make sure that the people that I knew, my close friends and all that type of stuff, were just taking reliable, good stuff.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Well, was that your motivation?
That was one of the reasons, and the other reason would be like the money, obviously.
How much money would you make in a month?
Turnover would probably be 15 to 20 grand, quite a big turnover.
Did you do any research on drugs before you started selling?
Yes, yeah, definitely. I understood that there were benefits to these types of drugs. I knew that you wouldn't die from them. It's not like I was selling meth or heroin. I knew that those were vastly different subjects.
Which quantities did you sell more of? Did you say weed?
On a good day, I would sell maybe 2 pounds.
Jesus! In one day?
I had a little operation going. Yeah, people would sell for me as well.
Did you make use of social media, like Snapchat and stuff?
It was just Snapchat, and then I just worked from referrals. I was pretty much a one-stop shop. If you wanted anything, I could get it. Well, I understand how people can get addicted, but I don't really understand what someone going and doing some MDMA for a night out is going to do to anything, or sitting in their room smoking some weed.
Surely you hesitated, selling drugs.
I knew what I was doing was illegal, but because of the environment of Dunedin, and it almost feels like it's legal. Yeah, I don't really regret it. It was fun, and I'll do it again, which is a weird thing to say. But everybody was doing it. It just felt, I don't know, like drinking, I suppose. I tested them using some reagent kit, like bar salts or anything like that. I wouldn't buy it.
Oh shit, the drug testing. I've got to go. Keep that thought, yeah? I'll come back. I want to hear how it ends.
Jump in. Hey, how you doing? No, we're turning right. Wait, what? Yeah, right. Right. You have an office?
Yeah.
So what do you do and why do you do it?
So I'm looking at MDMA, use, culture of use, in the country.
Yeah.
I guess all the little fine details, or as many as I can, the different types of traits or facets of people that are related, that are related potentially to what they do or how much they use and stuff. But yeah, it's still in the early stages, so I'm just interviewing people at the moment, just basically getting them to talk about the MDMA use and things that affect their use in general. What they think about how safe they are, if they could be safer.
What are we expecting to see today?
Hopefully it is MDMA, because that will be the safest option out of most of the compounds that are out there at the moment in the country.
So fingers crossed for MD.
Yeah, fingers crossed, I suppose, yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Welcome.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Come in.
Thank you. Hello, Jai.
So I have acquired these drugs through a friend of a friend, and they're actually a gift. I think it'll be really interesting to see what they come out as.
What kind of test do we have here?
I think the most important test today is this ecstasy. Easy test, or the MDMA easy test. That's kind of like the first protocol for testing MDMA.
Wow, this looks interesting.
Oh yeah, so that's just the vial that we end up testing it in. The most important thing though is to read these instructions, to be honest.
So if we were to test it and it comes out as bath salts, what colour would you expect it to be?
If it was purely a synthetic cathinone, we'd probably expect it to go in this yellow kind of colour here.
Cool, so should we get started?
Sure.
Brilliant.
How much of the MDMA are we actually going to use for this test?
You only need like a really, really small amount, so just kind of a few milligrams, if that. If you put too much in, the colour change can be like really quick and large, and you might not see subtle changes happening early on. So if you put a whole lot in, it might just go completely black, right? Which might make it more confusing to differentiate between ecstasy and DXM, because on the top end, they're both really dark.
I'm excited.
There's some fallout.
So even if you just take some of that stuff that's already fallen out onto the plate, there will be plenty. Yep, like that. Right. And then you just want to add the portion that you've got there basically into the ampule, and then give it a stir around. So you might have to like kind of brush it off. Hopefully we've added enough. If you give it a like swirl. All right, so what color do we see first?
Red.
Can you go in a little bit red?
I thought it went a little bit yellow.
Yellowy. And now you see that it's going a little bit more into the color that we think we wanted, right? Would you say so?
Would you say this is a purple colour?
It does look really dark, right? But I think I agree that it did look red or yellowy when you first added. If we saw even a hint of yellow at the start, it would mean that there's potentially a mixture of drug.
How are you feeling, Grayson?
Yeah, I'm a bit pissed off. You keep interrupting me. I didn't even do the second test.
You did see that it wasn't MDMA though.
Yeah, it doesn't mean I don't want to know what it actually is.
It's probably just bath salts.
Probably.
There's no reason to be petty, Grayson. It's your choice to be here.
You brought me here.
I'm just helping. See, what we do here is give you time to cover the essentials. But if you really want to go back to the party...
Wait.
Make up your mind.
I'd probably be fine. As you said, I've done the basics, but it's not just about me, is it? Why do we even want to take drugs? Drugs are everywhere. Why are people so scared of them? They're in your coffee, your Panadol. Like, are they really that bad?
Make up your mind.
It can be really positive, it can be extremely intimidating
Make up
and
your mind.
scary. It can also have a lot of fun with it. I say, know your limits.
Make
You
up
don't
your
have
mind.
to do everything your whole entire first year. You don't have to do it while you're even here. Just be aware that you're also going to be around these things.
All my other mates were drinking and had MDMA, which is, a bad combination.
Substance that can be dangerous, some people can enjoy it.
Can't say that you see everyone's a soda. Can't say that. Just do your research probably.
They can have a lot of damage on our nervous system and our brains with our serotonin receptors, which can definitely lead to problems in the later future.
I think the more mental effects, you don't know until someone does it.
I want it, I get it, can understand it. I'm all in, an addict.
Why do you think people take drugs?
There's honestly so many different aspects and reasons.
Do you think it can be done responsibly? Yes, I think it could be. I think some drugs could be, but I think other drugs are just not responsible.
Any advice?
Do drugs with great people.
Great people. What do you think is the issue?
I reckon people not knowing what they're taking is the issue.
So test your drugs.
Yeah, definitely test your drugs, bro.